Welcome back to She Could, She Would. You'll be joining me for my second video here, and this is my second shop dog to go with it. This is Socrates. We just adopted him probably about a month ago. He's a pit boxer mix, so he's gearing up to be the second best shop dog ever. But anyway, we're going to talk about the project today. I was very lucky to receive some rough sawn wood from some friends of mine, and different varieties like walnut, cherry, oak, poplar, and I think this is poplar right here, and this is what I'm going to be using today. I chose this piece for my project because I needed something lightweight. The people that I got the wood from, they are artists, and so I wanted to create something special for them to say thank you. So I was thinking, this is what I sketched up, of like a tabletop easel, one that would extend up so that you could accommodate different sizes. And I grabbed some materials that my daughter uses a lot in her artwork. So I wanted to look at this for measurement's sake. I want to make sure that I can fit all of these paintbrushes, palette, the paint and all the tools that go with it. So I'm going to use this to kind of size up compartments that I want to put in it. So the piece I have here is approximately 9.5 wide, and I have about 28 inches long here. So I am going to work with that and probably just cut it in half and make this, the top and bottom. This does have a lot of wormholes in it. I don't know if you can see or not, but so I need to plane this more. It is a little bit bowed just from the original cut. So I got to send it through the planer and clean it up, but I'm thinking it'll probably end up somewhere around 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, and that'll be a nice size. So I think I want to use finger joints on this, and open and close it with basic hinges, and like I said, put some compartments in there and a handle to carry it around so that it's portable. So stick with me. I'm going to run to the garage and start the work. Thanks. When planing boards, you often get pieces that are a little bowed, may not sit perfectly going through the planer. So what I do is I take just a very flat piece of wood, put it down, see where the places are that it shakes, and I take shims and put them in just where I think they need to go to make it sit flat. And you might need to do it in several areas and see how flat it can be. And then what I do is I actually keep little screws on my board, and I just screw them in so that everything sits steady when it goes through the planer. You can also put a little sandpaper to hold it down underneath, but this is the way you get a flat surface. The planer will cut everything off the top. Then you can take it off this board because you already have a level surface here, flip it over, and send it through on its own. Easy planing. I just got everything all planed up. I'm going to run things through the table saw in just a minute, but I wanted to show the measurement on here is approximately 9/16. And by the time I get done sanding everything to the finished product, it's probably going to be closer to 1/2 inch. But so I like having that little bit of extra room, but it's a good height. And then here, these pieces are still rough on the edges, so I want to send them through the table saw and clean those up. I'm going to take cherry, maybe, and put it on the sides here just to kind of get a little more thickness. I'll do thin strips, maybe 1/4 inch or something, because the width right now is 9.5 this way. And by the time I cut the sides off, it'll be like 9.25. I just wanted to make it a little bigger. So we'll see how that goes and how it looks, and go from there. I've got everything trimmed up the way I wanted. Now I'm trying to figure out how wide I want to make the cherry for the sides. This is just a little bit longer than 1/4 inch. So I was thinking something in this realm would be nice to go around. I'm going to start laying things out so we can get a better idea of what the panels are going to look like. And then we will start the glue up process. So I've got the long ends on, and now I'm going to do the short sides. I let the glue dry overnight and reassembled the parts so you can kind of see what things are looking like. Here's our box, and the measurements are approximately, actually we're just a hair over 4 inches. Our top is going to be just a hair over 16.5. And then this way we are at, I don't know, about 9 3/4. So I think that's a nice size, and very close to what I thought we might be coming out with. Again, I think I want to do finger joints, connecting these on the sides. It's a nice strong joint and will take a lot of glue. So I think we'll do that and fit those together. And then I'm going to cut the lid maybe, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 1 inch down so that we have 2 separate pieces, and then we'll do some kind of hinge so that it will flip up like this. And then inside of here, we're going to make some kind of groove so that the top of the easel can be adjusted for the height of whatever is being painted. And then inside of here, we'll have different compartments. All right, moment of truth. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Perfect. Anyway, if you like the idea of these finger joints fitting together, comment below and I can make a video on how to make this jig. I just finished all the finger joints on the sides. The joinery looks pretty good. And actually, I'll show you right now if you can see the joints. And it'll get sanded up once it's all put together and squared as I'm gluing it up, just to make sure that we have all the corners exactly correct. I went ahead and also sanded the panels flush, got rid of any glue that was hanging out. I've got everything squared up, glued up. I'm gonna sand the sides a little bit to get rid of that glue and kind of get the extra dust that comes off to fill in all the crevices and make it nice and flat. This is like the exciting part when you take off all the clamps and see what everything looks like. Love my clamps. I use these to help square everything off. All right, there we go. It is finally time to cut through the box and get the lid off. I took a scrap piece of poplar that is the same thickness as what I'm using here, so I can kind of line up the table saw. I went ahead and measured the thickness here, and I wanted to go just short with the teeth of the thickness because I'm going to do all 4 sides and then I'm going to finish it with a hand saw. Looking pretty good. Now I'm going to take the handsaw to it and finish it. I did the other 3 sides with the flush cut saw, and now I'm gonna finish off on the last part, and you can see what it looks like when I open it. There we go. All right, and here it is. That will be our box. I labeled A to the top here for the front, B, C, D, all the way around, just so I remembered what part goes with what. I started looking through my stash, and I found a catch that I can use to, close it. And I found some antique-ish looking hinges that I might, use here and here. And then I needed a piece somewhere around this size. And so I have a nice piece of cherry that I cut to, I think it's about 1/4 inch or so. And that way I will put it here, and the bolt will go through, and it'll be able to slide up and down through a hole right here. And then there will be a part sitting on the exterior that will rise and fall as this does. This is the piece I'm going to use to put the bolt in and have it slide up and down to increase the height of the canvas when my friend wants to do so. I marked off the center line. I set it to my bit so it would meet the center line, and I raised it just a hair over the piece so that when I run it through, it won't have a bunch of tear out. I also put 2 stop blocks, a starting and an ending, so the groove does not go through the wood. I'm going to take one pass, and if it's not wide enough, I'll move the fence just a tad and widen it up so the bolt moves freely through it. I am back at the table looking at my components and how I'm going to make this work. This is just a piece that I have lined up at the center point to see what it might be like for when this does incline, or I guess it would be this way. I was trying to see where the center line is, and that'll kind of dictate where I put this piece. I did route out the cherry piece first that you saw in the video, and of course right at the end it snapped. So I ended up gluing this back together, but I don't know if it's going to be strong enough. So I went ahead and did a second one with poplar, and then you can see how the bolt's going to slide through so it can go up and down. I am going to cut a slot here so this can move freely through it, and then I need a way to lock this down so that when you do tighten it, it actually holds on. I have the slide all in place, and I went ahead and put epoxy in with the bolt and the washer, so that way as this slides in and out, I can just screw it down to tighten it, and it'll hold up here wherever it is. And then I'm going to route out a little area, pop this on top. This will be what holds in any canvas. Because I put the hole in the center right here, I wanted it to be in the poplar and not in both the cherry and the poplar together, creating that a more definitive line. I cut the hole up here, which means that this is suspended a little bit. So I needed some support underneath. So my next step is I took some cherry, cut it down. I'm going to glue it under here so it has just a little support as it rides up and down here. As far as the hinge part, because I want to be able to do this at different angles, I will put a hinge in a piece of wood like this, and in the center here, I'm going to put little pieces here so that as this comes down, it could sit here, 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 whatever angle is needed. Like I said, that's the next step. I'm going to go ahead and glue it up now. I've gotten pretty far with the box. I wanted to show a couple of things. First off, I have my block that I've already glued in here. So as this rises, you can turn the bolt, lock it in. Again, I glued these two sliders in, or runners, I guess you'd say, just so this can slide up and down against it. And I beveled the edges on everything just to make it pretty soft. On the flip side, this is the part where the canvas is going to go in, and then again you can make this rise or fall and do whatever height you want. I did bevels on this as well, nice and smooth, sanded it to 120, and then I just put some screws in right here to keep this flush and sturdy. Now we're going to work on the hinges. I went ahead and started working with the hinges. I haven't done very many hinges, so I wanted to kind of lock them in first, see where they're going to sit, mark out my lines, and then I'm going to have to do some chisel work so that they can sit inside and not have a gap once it's folded. So I'm going to go ahead and mark out my lines, start chiseling, and make sure that the hinge sits in there well. Okay, I'm at a stopping point for the day, but wanted to show you how the hinges came out. The mortises look good. There's barely any gap, so I'm happy with that. And I'll turn it around so you can see the inside. This is what we're looking like in front. Open it up. And again, looks pretty good. I'm finally at the point where I'm going to start working on the inside cavity. The sides of this are approximately 2 inches, and lengthwise we are at about 8 5/8 it looks like. So I'm going to use some extra cherry that I have and cut this down to size and start working on my partitions. I've got all the compartment pieces cut to about 1/4 of an inch, and I did as many as I could. I'm going to use this block right here to get the most straight edge I can. I'll keep sanding on both sides, flip it over, do the other side, and then that way I'll have a nice smooth surface. But it's going to take a little bit, so I'm going to get that done, and then I will come back. Finally got all my pieces sanded here. It only took like 1,000 years, but anyway, they look pretty good, and I'm just going to cut them to size as needed. I was playing around with the box and threw some paint brushes in to get an idea of how big I wanted this compartment. I went back and forth over the partitions, and this is what I'm landing on. I am going to go ahead and glue these pieces in. I just think it's going to work out better, and I don't like the hinge idea. So I have a little bit of poplar left, barely a little bit. I'm going to make the, I don't even know what to call this piece, to help stand the easel up. I'm going to have it free floating so that it can be inserted and taken out and stored in the paintbrush area. And I'll put some kind of stop blocks here to, put it at whatever angle is needed. I'm going to be doing that in just a few minutes, but I do want to work on sanding these off first and maybe rounding the edges a little bit just to make it look better before I go ahead and start gluing these up, because this is going to take a while. I got the whole box sanded all around with the rounded corners and kind of flush sanded the poplar to the cherry. So now I'm ready for the compartments. It is near 90 degrees in the Midwest right now where I'm at, so I am sweating up a storm. I want to get to it and start gluing these partitions together. All right, everything's glued. I am going to continue making sure that it is square and get off all the excess glue, and then put some weight on it and let it dry. Lucky for me, it's a 90-degree heat day again in the lovely Midwest. So I'm going to try and knock this out pretty quick here. Wanted to show the partitions that are glued in and dried out. So we'll go here. If you can see that, pretty good. So they're nice and solid. We'll go a little higher. We can put the, paint brushes, pencils, pens, whatever in here, or actually in here too. And then all the other utensils that might be needed and paints and all that stuff. So we're looking good. We're actually looking really good. This is the piece that I am going to put in for the incline and decline. And this is probably, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch. I just cut it from the extra poplar that I had left, and I made sure that it would fit in here for storage. So that'll go again in here, and then I'm working on a block that it'll fit into. I took an average of the incline decline degree measurements and came out with about 30 degrees. So I'm going to make several stops for it, and then I will cut this to size and put it in. Here we go with the close-up. I think I have a pretty good angle going here. I cut this at about 30 degrees, and same with these down here. I just need to sand them out, make them look better, but I just kept cutting this down little by little to see what kind of angle I like. So this is the farthest angle. I should do it here so you can see. And then I will move it all the way to the middle position, and then up to the final position. So they're just small increments that kind of change how it sits. Odie boy, are you ready to keep going? We're almost done. Are you ready? Number 1 shop dog, here we go. Whoosh. All right. We are putting on the handle next. I grabbed a leather handle from the hardware store, marked off the middle point, so it's gonna go approximately here. And I'm kind of pushing it out so that a hand can get in there. The screws that it came with are too long. So I took a hacksaw and just cut them down, sanded them. So I am going to install this now. And then after that, we will do the latches for the, to close them here and here. The 90-degree marathon is finally over. You could see how frizzy my hair is, but it's not about beauty today. So finished up with the box with the latches on and handle, and I'm going to flip the camera over so you can see what it looks like. We're going to open her up. Latches work well. There we go. It's kind of hard to do it one-handed, but again, put it anywhere you like. Let's see if I can do it one-handed here. All right, put it anywhere you like. And there's 3 different places you can put it here. Compartments all look good. We're gonna put brushes there, little knickknacks everywhere. Turn it around. This is what it looks like from the front. And if you want to raise it up, you just set it to whatever height you would like. I think it turned out pretty well. I'm happy with it. I love the finger joints on the sides. That's always fun to look at. And I like the 2 different colors. I think that worked out as well. So I am going to double check to see if there are any pencil lines that need to be fixed up, and put some oil on her. And then I think we are finally done. All right, here we are, all oiled up, ready to be passed on. I think it came out great, and I really am proud of the work here. I think it's going to be a great special thank you to my friends who gave me all that lovely wood, and hopefully it'll be used for years on out. Here's the compartments with my daughter's art supplies, just to give an idea of what it looks like. But it was really fun to make it. So if you enjoyed watching the video, which I hope you did, please like and subscribe. That'll help me build things in the future and put more videos out. Have a great one. Thanks so much.